안녕하세요.
반갑습니다.
예, 반갑습니다.
엘란트라 회색? 쥐색이라고 해야 하나? 그거였어요.
현대포터요. 차 번호도 기억나요. 그 숫자가 지금 제 모든 비밀번호예요.
소나타 3요. 저희 엄마가 그 차 폐차시킬 때 막 가족 보내듯이 막 우셨어요.
마이티요. 그거 사자마자 저희 아버지가 저희 어머니랑 저랑 태워주셨던 거 기억나요.
Many people remember Hyundai Kia Motors as their childhood cars. Hyundai Motor Group is part of Korea's history. Now it goes beyond Korea and has become a global automotive brand in front of the whole world. Moreover, it became an automotive brand that will be with the next generation.
저희 집은 카니발이요. 식구도 많고 짐도 많다 보니까 카니발을 타고 있어요.
아버지는 여전히 마이티를 타시고요. 최근에 셀토스를 한 대 더 사셨죠.
현재 투싼 타고 있고요. 어릴 때부터 현대차만 봐왔으니까 자연스럽게 산 것 같아요.
지금 저희 엄마는 K5 타고 있고요. 저도 얻어서 진짜 잘 타고 있어요.
In the belief that my family drives, with the idea that my friends drive, the path of win-win with Hyundai Motor Group and its partners. Can we really be proud of those times?
현재 저는 현대차 연구소에서 자동차 설계를 맡고 있는 박병우입니다.
저는 안 다니고요. 제 친한 친구가 현대자동차를 다니고 있어요.
저는 현대차 그룹 협력사에서 일하고 있는 이규성입니다.
저희 아빠가 현대차 관련 일을 하셨어요. 그래서 뭐 지금은 퇴직하셨지만
제가 이 회사를 다니고 또 제가 타는 차니까 잘 만들어야겠죠? 저희 회사 차 타는 친구들 만나면 야, 형님 차 왜 그러냐? 그러면 제가 할 말이 없더라고요.
가끔 불안하긴 했죠. 어이없게 부품 하나가 잘못돼서 정비소에 들어간 적도 있고요. 그게 공장에서부터 잘못됐다고 하더라고요. 확인도 안 하고 차를 만들었다고 생각하면 조금 불안하긴 했죠.
아버지가 아무래도 장거리 운전을 많이 하시기 때문에 저도 현장에서 라인에서 좀 꼼꼼하게 보려고 하는 편이에요.
차가 말썽이면 아빠한테 가서 아빠도 차 이렇게 만들었어? 이렇게 따져야죠. 솔직히 우리만 타는 거 아니잖아요. 현대차 그룹 그리고 협력사 그분들의 친구 그리고 가족분들까지 다 타시는 건데 내 가족이 탄다고 생각하고 열과 성의를 다해서 만들어 주셨으면 좋겠어요.
How can we make cars safer with more devotion? With a mind to create responsibility, not just parts. And with the mind that my friend and friends drive, not just others. We can add reliability that we make a safe and convenient car. Until a perfect car becomes the complete car. Now, let's start with the employee's devotion to quality. A car is made by assembling tens of thousands of parts. Therefore, the quality of each part is the essential factor that determines the quality of a car. The quality of essential parts is determined in the work site where most parts are made. It's time to think about our mindset in our work in producing the quality of parts. So we'll talk about the term employee's devotion to quality, meaning the quality from a sincere heart. The right mindset that we need to have at our manufacturing site. Let's take some time to learn about employees' devotion to quality.
정성 품질요? 혹시 제품 하나 만드는데 정성스럽게 만드는 게 정성 품질인가요?
구체적인 내용은 잘 모르는데 작업 표준은 아닌 것 같고요. 글쎄요, 구체적인 내용은 잘 모르겠습니다.
정성 품질 들어봤는데 잘 모르겠습니다. 정성 들이는 거 아닐까요?
정성 품질요? 작업 표준 아닙니까?
잘 모르겠어요.
작업 표준서 내에서 정성 들여 작업하는 거를 정성 품질이라고 생각합니다.
정성 품질로 잘 모르겠는데요. 뭐를 가지고 정성 품질이라 그러지요?
What are we doing? No. What do we need to make safer and more convenient cars that my family, friends, and I drive? That's right. It's our sincerity. Sincerity is the driving force in making convenient and safe cars. We call it employees' devotion to quality. Sincerity is a mindset to be truthful and faithful with one's best. And it also means pride or self-esteem on one's duty. It can be extended to the idea of craftsmanship. The car I drive, and the cars that my family and friends drive. If there is no sincerity in making cars, what will happen? Recently, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration looked into cases of large-scale recalls. The cars were recalled since the seats and seat belts had a problem and failed to protect the driver and passengers in case of an accident. The seat belts couldn't be fixed to the seat frames properly, so about 620,000 cars were recalled. The hook welding of a seat had a problem, and considering the case when the seat is not attached properly in the car, about 120,000 cars were recalled. These are all real cases. There was another recall case that could have been a disaster. The burr inside the steering wheel could have caused a short circuit in the wiring harness of the airbag, so about 120,000 cars were recalled. What will happen if airbags don't deploy in case of a car crash? Moreover, what if the hood is open while driving and the view is not secured? As such, a trivial safety issue can put my friends, family, and myself riding Hyundai and Kia cars in danger. What about us? Let's look into the recent quality issues. Currently, we perform the initial sales quality stabilization activities and an external campaign on the new cars produced within 3 years to analyze quality issues. Among the claims with part issues, the issue of poor management has increased by around 10% annually, and currently it has risen sharply by 25 to 35%. As such, you can see that there is a significant increase in the quality issues of the parts related to employees' devotion to quality. Now, let's take a closer look at the issue of poor management due to non-compliance with employees' devotion to quality. For the main categories, lack of skill in the work accounts for the largest portion, followed by an unreasonable work environment, insufficient inspection, and lack of mind for quality. Like so, we could discover that the share of issues related to non-compliance with employees' devotion to quality at the site was quite high. It means our efforts are needed to raise the employees' devotion to quality at the site. To achieve a perfect quality level poured with sincerity, what should we do? Mainly, we need to take action to check whether we're fully aware of the work standards and whether we are faithfully following them. Including that, let's find out about our mindset to achieve the employees' devotion to quality and to-dos. The basic principles for quality assurance are as follows. First, we need to prevent making defective products. Second, if a defective product is made, we need to prevent it from being used and delivered to customers. Third, if any defective products are delivered to customers, we have to take immediate action. Also, activities for fundamental improvement should be carried out to prevent the recurrence of such defects. According to the 3 principles for quality assurance, we prepared 5 to-dos required to be fully understood and complied within the work site. First, a working environment that creates an atmosphere where you can concentrate on your work. Second, job set up to create an optimized environment for production. Third, work performance, complying with the work standards to secure quality consistency. Fourth, proper measures to avoid mixing, delivering non-conforming products. Fifth, prevention of recurrence of the same or similar issues through root cause analysis. Then, let's closely look into the 5 to-dos.
안녕하세요. 아직 카페 오픈 전인가요? 네, 영업 중인데요. 자리가 편한데 앉아 계시면 금방 치워드릴게요. 뭐 드릴까요? 따뜻한 라떼 한 잔 주세요. 네. 커피. 우유가 어딨지? 뭐야? 멈춘다. 주문하신 라떼 나왔습니다. 맛있게 드세요. 저기요, 이거 라떼 맞아요? 네, 따뜻한 라떼 주문하신 거 아니세요? 아, 이걸 라떼라고 만든 거예요? 이렇게 쓴 걸 어떻게 먹어요? 한번 드셔보세요.
실례합니다. 혹시 어떤 것 때문에?
아, 여기 커피 맛이 왜 이래요? 아, 이렇게 쓴 커피를 어떻게 먹어요? 그리고 손님이 왔는데 청소도 하나도 안 돼 있고 물건도 다 어질러져 있고. 아, 제가 갈게요.
죄송합니다. 죄송합니다. 유라 씨, 손님 왜 그러신 거예요? 뭐 커피 잘못 만들었어요?
아니요, 제대로 만들었는데.
알았어. 아니, 그리고 카페가 왜 이렇게 지저분해요? 정리가 하나도 안 돼 있네. 안 되겠다. 유라 씨, 앉아봐요. 우리 얘기 좀 해요. 유라 씨, 우리 카페 이름이 뭐죠?
3점 오행이요.
그 3점 오행이 무슨 뜻이에요?
뭐였죠?
이런 상황에서 손님을 받을 수 있겠어요, 없겠어요?
급한 사람들은 들어와서 마시기도 하고 가져가기도 하지 않을까요?
그래요? 그러다 사고라도 나면?
커피 마시는데 무슨 사고가 나요?
자, 봐봐요, 유라 씨. 정리 정도는 물론이고 위생 상태도 별로인 것 같아요, 그쵸?
네.
그래서 손님이 배탈이 났나요?
설마요.
그래요? 근데 커피 맛은 왜 이래요?
그게 제가 아직 뭐가 어디 있는지 헷갈려가지고 잘못 만들었나 봐요.
안 되겠다. 우리 카페 이름처럼 지금부터 3점 오행 실시. 실시.
실시.
유라 씨, 먼저 3점 오행이란 정품, 정량, 정위치를 3정이라고 해요. 알겠죠?
네.
그리고 오행은 정리, 정돈, 청소, 청결, 습관화를 오행이라고 하고요.
네.
알겠죠? 일단 먼저 3정을 시작해 볼까요?
네.
Right product, right quantity, and right location. Right products that are proper to use. Right quantity to store and manage the proper amount. Right location to easily locate things.
오케이. 항상 정품, 정량, 정위치 꼭 기억해야 돼요. 자, 그럼 이제 오행을 실천해 볼까요?
네.
Sorting, straightening, sweeping, standardizing, and sustaining the practice are important in everything we do. Sorting to sort out necessary things. Straightening to easily find things we need. Sweeping to keep the environment clean. Standardizing to organize and clean neatly. Sustaining the practice, an effort to follow all this.
어서 오세요. 편하신데 앉아 계시면 되세요. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요. 카페 분위기 정말 좋네요. 왠지 커피 맛도 맛있을 것 같은데요.
그럼요. 저희는 3정 오행을 항상 실천하는 카페라서 맛이 없을 수가 없어요.
아, 그래요? 그럼 라떼 한 잔 주세요.
네, 알겠습니다. 라떼 한 잔이요.
네.
우유 제가 준비할게요.
네.
We learned about the importance of the working environment through the example of the 3R 5S cafe, which was not prepared to serve customers. Preparing the right working environment can create an atmosphere for us to feel like we need to do our best. Now, let's look into 3R 5S as a representative method to make this happen. 3R 5S allows anyone to know where, what kind, and how many things exist, as well as to do work right, immediately, and accurately. Based on that, it provides a foundation to make a work site without waste, but with high efficiency and safety. The first step to create a working environment that is more pleasant with higher productivity. Now, let's take a closer look at 3R 5S. First, 3R. 3R consists of 3 elements: right product, right quantity, and right location. It allows workers to find out how many or how much stuff are where and of which condition at a glance. Then, what are the actions to follow in each element? For right product, workers should use genuine products and have to mark and manage them according to their items, specifications, and conditions. For right quantity, to manage proper storage quantity. The standard of optimal inventory has to be set up and complied with. For things to be at the right places and right locations, storage locations should be set clearly, and workers should put effort into following them. Next is 5S. 5S is to eliminate waste, inefficiency, and disorder. And it consists of 5 elements: sorting, straightening, sweeping, standardizing, and sustaining the practice. Let me explain their meanings and simple principles to practice them. Sorting is an action to clearly identify necessary and unnecessary things and eliminate unnecessary things. Straightening is putting necessary things in the right place for anyone to find and use them easily. Sweeping is to make the working environment clean by sweeping and wiping dust or foreign substances. Standardizing is to maintain the working environment in top condition. Sustaining the practice is to build a habit of organizing and cleaning and be ready with an attitude to keep the best working environment all the time. To produce high-quality products, it starts by preparing and maintaining the best working environment. Warehouses for storing raw materials and finished products, each processing and inspection room, storage areas, etc. Why don't you look around your work sites and your company through the eyes of 3R 5S now? In addition, to prevent product deformation and deterioration, it is also recommended to check whether the environmental conditions, including temperature, humidity, cleanliness, noise, and vibration set by the company, are being properly implemented.
저희는 작업 환경 조성에 우선시 두는 점은 누구라도 필요한 물건은 쉽게 찾도록 하는 것과 작업 편의성을 향상시키는 것입니다. 쾌적한 작업 환경과 낭비적인 요소를 없애기 위하여 간단한 작업 도구 및 부품, 지구류 등은 작업 시 사용하기 쉬운 상태로 정량을 정위치에 보관하고 눈으로 보는 관리를 시행하고 있는데요. 내 작업장은 내 스스로 산정원인 점검을 통해 문제점을 해결하고 작업 능률과 품질을 향상시키는 작업 환경을 개선하고 있습니다. 또한 작업 시 설비 점검 및 부품 지구 교체는 바코드 시스템을 적용하여 실수 방지와 전산 자동 작업 지시 연동 시스템을 도입하여 작업 간의 불필요한 행위들을 감소시키고 작업자의 편의성을 증대시켜 작업자가 최대한 작업에 집중할 수 있는 환경을 조성하고 있습니다.
F1, a race where you become the winner in a split second. F1 race is combined with state-of-the-art technologies to drive at a tremendous speed. The moment when cars worth billions of dollars pass the finish line in an instant moment, people shout out with joy. But there is a moment that people wait for the most in the F1 game. It is a pit stop where mechanics work together to repair race cars. It is a brief stop for immediate maintenance for race cars. Race cars stop at pit areas where around 10 to 20 mechanics wait. And just in a few seconds, their tires and parts are replaced to race again. And for this, there are crews who do their best for this moment. And they are called mechanics. Mechanics must quickly and accurately perform the replacement required for race cars within 1 or 2 seconds. Therefore, mechanics thoroughly prepare themselves for numerous tasks for the moment when the cars come in. They organize the parts to be found easily. And in particular, they arrange tools exclusive for race cars in advance. That way, they try their best to make the cars in perfect condition right away at the busy field. Not only are minor mistakes causing severe problems to race performance, but they can also lead to accidents. So mechanics make sure to get everything ready, even including oil, coolant, and fuel, to be at an optimal temperature. That is to say, for the F1 Championship, talented racers and powerful race cars are important, but actually, it can be achieved by the efforts of mechanics who prepare themselves with thorough preparation for the operating system to reach an optimal condition in which not even a single millisecond is lost. We are not different from those mechanics when it comes to job setups, preparing optimal conditions for the best products. Just like the mechanics, if we are thoroughly prepared to prevent defects and ready for an optimal operation like winning the F1 race, we'll also have a thrilling victory with the best products created by our hands. Before starting the operation, we need to check and inspect how we are prepared to work. For such verification activity, it covers all events like material changes, changes in production hours, restarting after the downtime, including the initial operation. The most typical verification activity method is to check the conditions of equipment and tools, and to check whether major facilities, including foolproof equipment, operate normally using the on-site master. In addition, the initial, immediate, and final product inspections can confirm that each processing has been properly maintained or whether there are changes in quality when changes occurred. But the most important thing is to be fully aware of the standards set by the company for work preparation inspection by process or item. What do the initial, intermediate, and final product inspections and comparisons mean? They are to check the operating conditions of the production equipment, that is, the quality of the products at the initial, intermediate, and final stages. To do so, the following activities must be followed. First, the first off, middle off, last off part should be inspected separately and each test result should be recorded for management. Second, the inspected products from the previous initial, intermediate, and final product inspection should be stored. Third, they should be used for comparison and confirmation between products if necessary. The first off parts are used for comparison with the final off parts, and the final off parts are used for comparison with the following first off parts, so they have to be stored for a certain period. The verification of job setups before the work mentioned above is the final verification for production. In addition, daily inspection and management are equally important because we can prevent big problems in advance through maintenance activities such as regular facility inspection, mold and jig management, and subsidiary material management. Let's take a look at the details. Here are the do's and don'ts to faithfully carry out the job setup. First of all, daily inspection should be performed to check whether the equipment operates normally, and the working tools for standard work need to be secured. Moreover, you need to be fully aware of the verification methods of major facilities using initial setting parts and field masters and measures needed to be taken in the event of an abnormal operation. In addition, it is necessary to ensure consistency between work standards and actual facility conditions. And in order to check for changes in working conditions, the inspections of first, intermediate, and final products should not be neglected. On top of that, there are things to be careful about. Verification should always be carried out before the start of work on any changes, including the production type or when restarting. It is absolutely necessary to avoid manipulating the equipment conditions randomly, such as equipment set values or arbitrary judging in the event of an abnormal operation. If you are not fully aware of the management standards, or if you encounter unexpected problems in the verification process, please don't keep it to yourself, but ask the manager for help.
저희는 최적의 조건을 세팅하기 위해 사전에 제품부터 적재 용기까지 일련의 모든 과정에 대한 부분을 악의 조건으로 테스트를 진행해 문제점을 파악하고 사전에 개선을 진행하고 있습니다. 또한 시업 전 NG 마스터를 이용해 라인의 조건들이 적합한지 확인 후 라인이 가동되도록 풀프루프화되어 있습니다. 이는 시업 전 검증이 안 되면 라인 가동이 안 되어서 최적의 조건을 만들 수밖에 없는 구조입니다. 저희는 체계적 인원 구성을 통해 각 인원 및 부서별 업무 분담을 지정하고 시업 전 일상 점검을 진행하고 있습니다. 대표적으로 보존팀에서는 설비 및 지구의 컨디션을 사전 점검하고 문제점을 확인하며 생산팀에서는 필요한 만제품이 적절한지 라인의 소모품이 일정하게 구비되어 있는지 사전 점검을 하여 생산에 문제가 되지 않도록 사전 준비 작업을 진행하고 있습니다. 저희 아진산업은 프레스 조립 업종으로 용접 분리에 대한 실패 사례가 있었습니다. 용접 분리는 다양한 원인 중에 팁 드레싱이 제대로 이루어지지 않는 경우 발생이 되는데 자체 비전 기술을 활용하여 연마 분석 장치인 TD 검사 시스템을 개발 후 적용함에 따라 용접 분리의 분량을 개선할 수 있었습니다. 이는 비전을 통해 팁의 오염도를 검출하여 정해진 기준에 미달 시에는 자동으로 라인이 정지되기 때문에 용접 분리 분량 유출을 사전에 방지할 수 있었습니다.
One careless worker puts danger to all 100 workers. One worker can cause huge damage to the entire company of 100 workers. Only 1% of non-compliance with standards can cause 99% of compliance to fail. So how do we keep the standard? One versus 29 versus 300. For every big accident that causes a major injury, there are already 29 similar accidents with minor injuries and over 300 accidents without injuries. What does it mean by 29 accidents with minor injuries and over 300 accidents without injuries before one big accident with a major injury? It talks about non-compliance with the standard. We often ignore the things considered too familiar with us. We don't wear the uniforms and protective gear, change work orders randomly, or leave the place while the machine is running. We don't comply with the standard for workers. When the standard work is not complied with, how many problems will we suffer? Over 300 times of non-compliance with standard can cause 29 times of process omissions, rework, productivity, and quality degradation. And it will eventually lead to a big accident beyond words. It can put ourselves and our colleagues in great danger, bringing tremendous damage. Compliance with standards, which is never difficult. When compliance with the standard is observed and shared by all, the product quality increases and we can also protect all of us. Proper compliance with the standard. This is an essential attitude that all of us need for our work. Work standards are a set of work conditions, work methods, management methods, materials used, facilities used, and criteria for other precautions. Proper compliance with work standards leads us to quality stability, prevention of failure, improvement of workability, and our safety. What kind of attitude do we need to ensure the quality with sincerity? We need an attitude pursuing full knowledge and faithful practice of work standards. When the key management factors and methods in the field are determined, we should post it on site so that anyone can easily find it. We should be aware of and practice the work standards distributed and posted on site. It is compliance with the standard, which is the most basic attitude for us, for employees' devotion to quality. We are making constant efforts to reduce or not make mistakes. However, a mistake can happen at any time. So, what happens if mistakes are repeated? Let's take a look at the story of Haas, a new team of F1. Haas was continuing with its best ever performance in F1 2018. In the middle of the race, Haas's first car driver felt something went wrong with the tires and changed them. But right after the first car left, the mechanics realized there was a mistake when replacing the tires. And Haas's first car stopped in the middle of the stadium. Haas then put all its hopes on the second race car. But the second car also stopped in the middle of the stadium due to a tire problem after the replacement. Repeated mistakes caused the top-ranked team to fall. In order to properly practice the standard, there are things to do and not to do. First of all, what should we do? The latest version of the work standard, written in a language that can be understood by workers, should be posted on the site so that anyone can easily use it. The content of work standards and inspection standards should be fully understood and observed by on-site workers. Finally, the appropriate criteria for the input of new or temporary workers shall be established, and by observing it, we should be careful with the non-conformance or its product leakage. On the other hand, what should we not do? Failure to be aware of work methods, inspection standards, and handling procedures in the event of an unexpected situation, or failure to comply with what we have learned are the things we should be most careful at. Also, the act of randomly manipulating the set values of equipment or tools during work will not be tolerated in any case. In a situation where it's difficult to make a personal judgment, do not decide by yourself, but make sure to ask for the manager's help.
네, 저희 제품은 검사를 할 때 불량 판정을 하기가 애매한 부분이 많이 있습니다. 특히 융착은 검사 포인트도 많기도 하고 불량품인지 아닌지 판단하기가 애매합니다. 그래서 최근에 융착 검사를 AI를 도입해서 자동으로 해주기 때문에 저희는 다른 검사를 더 정성껏 할 수 있어서 마음이 편안합니다. 그리고 조금이라도 애매한 제품은 고민하지 않고 판정 대기 대차에 격리하고 있습니다. 그러면 현장 관리자하고 품질 순회 검사자가 대신 판정을 해줍니다. 덕분에 검사할 때 고민하지 않으니 생산성 향상도 저절로 달성할 수 있게 되었습니다. 요즘은 사소한 불량도 잡아줘서 고맙다는 팀장님의 말을 들을 때 자부심을 느끼고 있습니다. 요 정도는 괜찮습니다. 투입하세요 라는 말을 들을 때까지 열심히 검사하는 게 저희 소박한 목표입니다. 저희는 표준 작업을 준수하고 있습니다. 각 공정마다 모니터에 표준 작업을 보여주기 때문에 어떻게 작업해야 하는지 정확하게 숙지하고 작업에 임하고 있습니다. 그리고 표준 작업을 이행하지 않으면 다음 공정으로 넘어가지 않도록 풀프루프 자동화 시스템이 적용되어 있습니다. 그래서 실수를 하더라도 금방 알게 되어서 항상 표준 작업을 할 수 있습니다. 그리고 우리가 만든 제품이 문제가 있을 때마다 검사 공정에 실시간으로 모니터에 공유되고 있습니다. 특히 문제가 여러 번 나온 부위는 검사 표준에 자동으로 업데이트 표시되어 똑같은 실수를 하지 않도록 도와주고 있습니다. 무엇보다도 내 부모님과 내 형제 자녀가 타는 차를 만든다는 마음으로 표준 작업에 임하여 정성을 기울여 작업하고 있습니다. 분유조 활동을 통해서 나온 제안이나 이런 굿 아이디어들 이런 것들은 저희 MES 시스템에 제안 톡에 등록을 합니다. 등록을 하면 거기에서 좋은 안건은 채택이 되어서 이렇게 포상으로도 우리가 보상을 받고 있습니다. 초중 정품 검사를 하다 보니까 조명이 어두운 거예요. 그래서 제안톡에 제안을 했고 지금 현장에 가보시면 엄청나게 밝게 되어 있거든요. 평상시에는 잘 안 보였던 것도 한눈에 들어올 수 있어서 품질 향상에 아주 도움이 되고 있습니다.
One day in January 2022. It was a normal working day, and team members were preparing to start work. But suddenly, some team members are running the product section. Is there something wrong with the products? Team members are trying their best to sort out non-conforming products on the manufacturing line. They can find a non-conforming product from the line immediately. The team member in charge of the line found a non-conforming product and put it aside, and then he left his place for a while. But it was the moment that the problem happened. While the team member in charge of the line was gone, another team member came and put the non-conforming product on the line back because he thought it was an accepted one but just fell from the line.
진짜 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 제가 분명히 부적합품이라도 옆에 빼놓고 그때 갑자기 화장실이 좀 급해서 잠시 자리를 비운 상태였거든요. 그 사이 그게 다시 라인 위에 올라갔을 줄은 꿈에도 몰랐습니다.
The team members in charge of the line returns and looks for the one he put aside, but it's already back on the production line. Everybody was not clear about what happened. In an instant, they start an additional inspection to find the non-conforming product.
아니, 그걸 왜 제대로 구분하고 옆에다가 살포시 넣는 건지. 원래 부적합한 옆에 살짝 넣는 게 아니라 제대로 구분해야 하잖아요. 그렇게 안 하면 큰일 나요.
내가 다시 적당히 조치를 하려고 했다니까요. 그걸 왜 멋대로 넣어가지고 라인에. 진짜.
Non-conforming products should be prevented from being mixed and moved to the next process. Please see how another team member handles it. When a non-conforming product is found, it must be immediately identified and isolated.
이상이 생겼을 때는 여과 없이 식별 격리 처리해야 되는데 그걸 너무 안일하게 생각하고 일하다 보니까 부적합품이 혼입되고 다시 문제가 발생하고 이런 일이 조금 빈번한 것 같아요. 이상 조치를 제대로 하지 않으면 작은 문제가 큰 문제가 되고 그러다 보면 결국 모두에게 불편한 상황이 오는 거죠.
Proper measures such as identification and isolation to prevent the mixing and shipment of non-conforming products. Appropriate storage and disposal are the only right way for all team members. The quality of the product is checked through all inspections, such as incoming inspection, process inspection, final inspection, and shipment inspection. Parts or products that fail to pass the inspection are called non-conforming products. These separated non-conforming products need to be managed strictly. Accordingly, the most important thing is to prevent such products from being mixed during processes or moved to the next process through isolation and identification. Even if a proper production environment was created and all pre-operation preparation and standard were faithfully carried out, non-conformities may still occur. So, what should we do to prevent these non-conformities from being delivered to the customer? A typical non-conforming product handling procedure is as follows. First, it is necessary to take measures not to mix non-conforming products with good products, accepted products, or not to be put into the next process. Identification to clearly indicate non-conformity and isolation to store it in a separate place to avoid mixing them with good products are required. Second, the occurrence of non-conforming products should be counted, recorded, and managed. Of course, the appropriate corrective measures should also be required depending on the attributable reasons for the non-conforming products. Third, the process of rework and disposal must be carried out. Let's take a second look at what we should remember in this series of procedures. Non-conformities separated by inspection should be clearly identified using tags, markings, labeling, etc. Also, to prevent mixing with good products, they must be stored in the designated location. Now, let's take a look at the detailed follow-up processing procedure about how to identify and handle isolated non-conforming products. Depending on the degree of non-conformities, measures such as rework, risk to the customer, or disposal can be decided. It should never be decided by the production team members alone, but it is necessary to request an accurate judgment from the quality control department. If rework is decided, it should be confirmed that the nonconformities were resolved by reinspection after rework. In other words, the nonconforming product should be confirmed that it has been transformed into good products. Moreover, the status of occurrence and handling of nonconforming products must be managed by recording. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. Those classified as non-conforming products by inspection or foolproof equipment are identified and isolated. After this, they have to be confirmed whether it is a defect through the inspection of the quality control department. Then, depending on the condition and degree of nonconformities, processing methods such as rework or disposal will be determined. Additional verification shall be conducted for the reworked product, and only the products that have passed can be put into the next process. For the details of nonconformities, the cause are thoroughly analyzed and linked to the implementation of improvement measures. The analysis of the root cause for preventing recurrence is separately indicated on to-dos in the recurrence prevention section of the employee's devotion to quality. So let's focus on that once again. To prevent the mixing and shipment of non-conforming products, we've summarized the things we should do and not do. First of all, what should we do? We must be fully aware of and faithfully comply with the handling standards as the other practices mentioned above. In the event of a non-conforming or suspected product, the first thing to do is identification and isolation to prevent mixing it with good products and shipment to customers. In addition, if the rework is performed, it is necessary to thoroughly re-inspect to ensure that the product meets the customer's requirements. Finally, the occurrence and handling history must be recorded. This is to ensure further investigations to have accurate data about production events. In addition, it is also helpful for future improvements, such as designating those failure cases as cue points. So, on the other hand, what should we not do? We should not decide how to deal with nonconformities by ourselves. Also, special attention should be paid when reusing dropped products or random use of suspected products which may lead to a problem.
저희 회사에서는 부적합품 식별 처리 관련해서 정기적인 교육을 받고 있습니다. 그래서 전 사원이 식별 처리 방법을 알고 있고 라인에도 이러한 절차서가 부착되어 있어 다른 라인으로 지원을 가도 불량 처리를 잘 할 수 있게 되었습니다. 특히 각 라인마다 아이템별로 식별 방법을 표준화한 것이 작업자들에게 큰 도움이 되었습니다. 예전에는 제품에 표시하는 방법이 다르다 보니까 불량이 혼입되는 경우가 있었는데 표준을 정해놓고 작업을 하니까 어느 작업자라도 제품을 보고 불량으로 판단할 수 있게 되었습니다. 인라인 불량 발생 시 불량 재발을 막기 위해 큐 포인트를 라인에 게시하고 있습니다. 불량이 발생하면 그 즉시 현장에서 실시간 교육을 하고 있으며 불량 및 개선 내용에 대해 큐 포인트를 작성하고 작업자 서명을 받아 라인에 게시함으로써 작업자가 불량 및 개선 내용에 대해 항상 생각하도록 하고 두 번 다시 이런 불량이 유출되지 않도록 노력하고 있습니다. 저희 회사는 초중종물 모니터링 시스템을 운영하고 있습니다. 전 라인의 초중종물 검사 현황을 한눈에 볼 수 있도록 하였으며 직반장이나 생산관리자가 실시간으로 이상 여부를 파악하여 불량 유출을 미연에 방지하는 것입니다.
벌써 시간이 이렇게 됐네. 빨리 끝내야 되는데. 보여야 말이지, 이건 뭐. 부적합품인 것 같기도 하고, 뭐 아닌 것 같기도 하고. 아이, 모르겠다. 포장이 왜 이래, 이거? 응?
뭐야? 아, 이건 아무리 봐도 부적합품 같은데 왜 통과에 와 있는 거야? 정성 씨,
예.
업무 잠시 중단하고 이쪽으로 와보세요.
아, 예, 예.
네. 여기는 아무 문제 없는 제품들만 분리하는 거 맞죠?
예, 맞습니다.
근데 이건 아무리 봐도 부적합품 같은데.
아, 잠시만요.
네.
아, 그렇게 말씀하시니까 또 그런 것 같습니다.
아, 이렇게 되면 자칫 불량품이 양품으로 넘어가서 문제가 될 수 있다는 거 생각 안 해봤어요?
생각은 하고 있습니다.
아무래도 제가 정성 씨한테 왜라는 5가지 질문을 꼭 해야겠네요.
네?
먼저, 왜 유관 검사 때 잘 보지 못했나요?
일이 바쁘다 보면 제대로 보지 못할 때가 있는 것 같습니다.
왜 제대로 못 보는데요?
잘 안 보여서 그런 것 같습니다.
왜 잘 안 보이는데요?
조명에 약간 어두워서 그런 것 같습니다.
조명이 왜 어두운 거죠?
조명의 위치가 좋지 않기 때문에 뭐 그런 것 같아요.
왜 조명의 위치가 안 좋은 걸까요?
조명에 대한 위치가 기준이 정확하지도 않고 원래 이전에 사용했던 그 사용자 그 기준에서 계속 사용하다 보니까 좀 그런 것 같습니다.
그럼 정성 씨 이전 사용자는 정성 씨보다 키가 훨씬 더 커서 조명의 위치가 높았던 거고, 그럼 조명의 위치의 문제만 해결되면 되겠네요?
예, 맞습니다.
그럼 조명에 대한 문제가 해결되면 잘 분류할 수 있겠어요?
그럴 것 같습니다.
좋아요. 이제 유관 검사를 잘 할 수 있겠나요?
네, 전에는 조명이 잘 보이지 않아서 그냥 대충 넘긴 게 있었는데 지금은 좀 잘 보이니까 이렇게 부적합품도 잘 구별이 잘 되는 것 같습니다.
네. 부분을 아주 잘하고 계시네요. 조명의 위치를 바꾸고 바퀴를 강화했더니 훨씬 이전보다 부적합품 구별이 확실해졌네요.
네, 문제 파악하고 해결책이 나오니까 이렇게 일이 훨씬 편한 것 같습니다.
뭔가 잘 안 되고 같은 문제가 반복될 때는 5가지 Y를 기억하고 스스로한테 왜라고 5번 물어보세요. 그럼 근본적인 문제가 해결되겠죠?
왜 5번 꼭 기억하겠습니다. 좋습니다. 열심히 하겠습니다.
화이팅!
화이팅!
Maybe you've been in trouble or embarrassed due to a recurrence of the same or similar problems. So, why does this happen? That's because of the ineffective short-term temporary measure that was made without proper questions. So, we need to find the primary root cause of the problem and make a proper countermeasure. These activities are called effective recurrence prevention activities or corrective measure activities. What should we do to effectively prevent recurrence? As it was explained, you should ask proper questions to find the root cause of the problem. To summarize it in one sentence, the primary root cause of the problem must be derived in order to solve the problem. The most common method for finding the primary root cause is 5Y method. It starts with describing the current state of the problem in detail. And then ask why questions and write down the reason or cause of the question. Next, ask additional questions with why about the reason or cause mentioned previously. Also, the main goal is to perform the process of finding the cause with at least 4 or 5 why questions. In fact, the more important thing than the number of questions is to repeat the questions until there is no need for more questions. While identifying the cause of the problem continuously like this, the last remaining cause will be the primary root cause. And improving that cause can be the best way to prevent a recurrence. Now, let's compare the wrong and correct approaches to the 5Y method. First, let's assume this situation. Oil is spilled on the work site floor. This looks messy and threatens worker safety. So, why did this happen? Is it because the floor was not cleaned often? Then why wasn't it cleaned often? Due to lack of cleaning time? Then why is there not enough time? Lack of cleaning staff? Then should we recruit cleaning staff just because there is oil on the floor? In fact, this approach is focused only on the phenomena that appeared in the problem. In short, the why questions could not find the primary cause because why were given just superficially instead of discovering a primary cause. Let's take a look at a case where the same situation was approached in a different way. Why was the oil spilled on the floor? Because it was leaked out of a pipe nearby. Why was the oil leaked? Because of a crack on the pipe joint. Why did the crack occur? Because non-standard parts were used at the joints of pipes. As the root cause was detailed, we can find out what the problem was. We can check the material and physical properties of all the parts, and replace them in every place where non-standard parts were used. This is a method to improve the problem by inspecting and checking in advance to prevent such an event from happening again. What is the difference between these two cases? The difference is between focusing only on superficial phenomena or exploring the primary causes. To get more familiar with 5Y, let's take a look at the most representative example, wall corrosion at the Thomas Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C.
미국 워싱턴에 위치한 제퍼슨 기념관. 제3대 대통령 토머스 제퍼슨을 기념해 건립된 기념물. 거액의 공사비를 들여 자주 벽면 보수 공사를 실시하고 있었다고 한다.
벽면 보수 공사 비용이 너무 많이 들어. 다른 기념관들은 괜찮은데 왜 제퍼슨 기념관만 이런 거지? 무엇 때문일까?
그래서 이에 대한 조사를 하게 되는데,
왜 벽면 보수 공사를 자주 하죠?
벽면 세척을 자주 하니까 대리석이 마모되기 때문이죠.
왜 벽면 세척이 잦은가요?
비둘기가 많아서 배설물로 오염됐기 때문이죠.
왜 비둘기가 많죠?
비둘기 먹이인 거미가 많기 때문이죠.
왜 거미가 많죠?
거미의 먹이인 나방이 많기 때문이죠.
왜 나방이 많죠?
그건 주변보다 가로등을 1시간 일찍 점등하기 때문이죠.
이것이 바로 근본 원인 분석입니다.
Lastly, here's another case that might happen to us. It is a case where the machine equipment went down during operation. Why did it stop? Because a short circuit occurred at the fuse. Why did a short circuit occur at the fuse? Because of the overload of the circuit. Why are circuits overloaded? Because excessive friction occurs on bearings. Why does friction occur? Because of the lack of oil circulation. Why is there a shortage of oil circulation? Because of the inflow of metal fragments blocks the pump. In this case, after 5Y was completed, by installing the pump filter and checking and replacing it regularly, we can prevent a recurrence of the problem. As an individual, you may feel like it is somewhat difficult to take action to find the root cause. Also, there is a high concern that you would rely only on your intuition and stay in a relatively narrow approach instead of looking at the problem as a whole. So, in order to prevent such a thing from happening, we need to put our heads together and work with our colleagues, our team leaders, and management. Only when a culture of free discussion is established, by recognizing problems and sharing quality issues based on the common goal to improve them. This is the ultimate recurrence prevention method.
저희 당사에서는요, 공정에 유출되었던 품질 문제를 분석하다 보니까 70% 이상이 재발되는 품질 문제였습니다. 그래서 우리는 한 번 발생되었던 품질 문제만큼은 재발시키지 말아야겠다는 다짐을 하게 되었습니다. 품질 확보를 위해서 페널티 정책을 펴는 것보다는 성과를 보상하는 품질 성과제나 불량 검출 시 포상제를 운영 중이며 전사적으로 노 리피트 마이큐라는 품질 캠페인을 실시하고 있습니다. 본인 작업장에 과거에 발생시켰던 품질 문제를 리스트업하여 게시하고 작업 전이나 작업 중에도 마음에 담아 작업장 모든 부품에 관심과 주의를 기울이고 모든 작업에 정성을 다할 수 있도록 하고 있습니다. 저희 회사는 불량 유출을 막는 불량 검출뿐만 아니라 선제적으로 공정에서 근본 원인을 분석하여 불량 개선을 하고 있습니다. 대표적인 사례는 과거 사출 불량이 재발되는 근본 원인이 금연관리에 있음을 확인해 공정 내 자체 통합금융센터를 운영하고 고질적인 사출 불량을 개선한 사례가 있습니다. 클레이샷이라는 거는요, 표적이 뜨면 신속하게 사격을 해야 하는 클레이 사격처럼 현장에서 품질 문제가 발생하면 24시간 내에 원인을 찾고 개선하기 위해서 저희는 클레이샷 개선 활동을 하고 있습니다. 저희 회사의 한 가지 사례를 설명드리자면 출하 공정에서 저희 제품 베이스 커버 쪽에 치킨 불량이 발생되었는데요. 저희는 즉시 품질, 생산관리자, 작업자 등이 모여서 공정을 역진단하였습니다. 꼼꼼히 공정을 진단하던 중에 조립밤 상공정인 기능검사 공정에서 지그의 제품을 안착시키는 방향에 따라서 지그에 간섭되는 것을 확인하였고요. 즉시 간섭 부위를 제거하였습니다. 더불어 전 라인의 작업 공정을 확인하여 동일하게 간섭되는 한 개 라인을 추가로 발견하여 예방 품질 활동을 하였습니다. 단순한 개선이지만 빠른 점검과 개선으로 품질 비용을 줄일 수 있었습니다.
Under the theme of employees' devotion to quality with sincerity to provide perfect quality, we learned 5 to-dos so far. Now, let's summarize it again. First, working environment. It is to create an atmosphere where you'll be willing to do your best by building a proper working environment. 3R of right product, right quantity, and right location. 5S of sorting, straightening, sweeping, standardizing, and sustaining the practice. This will be the first step toward creating a more pleasant and productive working environment. Second, job setup. We need to check and verify whether we are ready before we start working. Production must be started after verification. Also, additional verification is needed in case of changes or rework after downtime. We should remember that. Third, work performance. We should be fully aware of the standard and put them into practice. In a situation where it's difficult to make a personal judgment, do not make a random judgment by yourself because it can worsen the situation. But you should make sure to report the situation to the site manager and take proper action. Next is the proper containment. It is to identify and isolate non-conforming products and prevent them from being mixed with good products and shipped. During rework, the most important part is to check again with additional inspection. Lastly, prevention of recurrence. In order to prevent the recurrence of similar or same quality problems, we need to identify the fundamental cause of the problem. Therefore, it is recommended to ask 5 why questions to find causes. To produce the best products, the most comfortable and safest cars for my family, my friends, and myself. What is the most important thing to do? It is my responsibility to do my best in my job and the pride and passion for my work.
작업자 손끝에서 나오는 완벽한 제품을 만드는 마음가짐이라고 생각합니다.
앞 공정부터 뒤 후공정까지 정성스럽게 제품 하나 이상 없이 육안으로 아무런 이상 없이 고객사로 납품하는 게 우리 정성스럽게 납품한 것입니다.
책임감이라고 생각합니다. 제가 만든 작은 분량이 완사에 들어갔을 때 인명사고나 대형사고로 이어질 수 있다는 생각으로 집중하여 작업했습니다. 저희가 지금 생산하고 있는 제품들이 고객사에게까지 전달되어 감동을 주는 거라 생각합니다.
기본 준수라고 생각합니다. 현장의 표준과 그 기준들은 최소한 지켜야 할 삶이라고 생각하고 반드시 준수한다는 마음가짐으로 작업에 임하고 있습니다.
고객님들 생각하며 정성 들여 만드는 것을 정성 품질이라 생각합니다.
정성 품질이라고 하는 것은 회사 또한 현장 모든 분들이 품질을 하나 만드는 데 있어 가지고 모든 정성어가 혼을 다 쏟아 가지고 만드는 게 정성 품질인 걸로 알고 있습니다.
작업 표준서 준수라고 생각합니다. 사람이 하루에 8시간 일을 하는데 그 작업 표준서대로 한다면은 그 안에서 실수도 없고 정성 들여서 제품을 만들 수 있다고 생각합니다.
It has been said that our thoughts determine our destiny, and our destiny determines our legacy. In other words, our mindset is most important because everything depends on our mindset. When we can put a positive mark on the negative, the impossible becomes possible. Also, the situation can turn to hope. Looking at the problem from a different perspective is very important. When you put an apostrophe on the word impossible, meaning cannot, it turns into I'm possible. With just one simple spacing, dream is nowhere, becomes dream is now here. Where will you put your dot of a miracle today? Junyoung, Chapter 23. Don't ignore the little things and do your best. If you do your best for small things, you can build up sincerity. When you pour your sincerity, it will be revealed. When it is revealed, it becomes bright. When it is bright, it impresses others. When it impresses others, it can change others. When people are changed, they grow. So, only the one who pours his heart out can change himself and the world. As such, we can add just one dot called sincerity to our daily work and improve our lives more meaningful. Now, are you ready to practice employees' devotion to quality?